we are in the QBO gym, and this is where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do an entire month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But let's go ahead and get into today's exercise, which is being pulled from our November Year 1 cardio section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client Craig this month. Below that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to that video up above. Below that are the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have gone through all of the exercises in this section and completed them, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everyone what you have learned so far. So let's dive into today's exercise where we are going to practice setting up contractors. Go ahead and click on the link to have the exercise come up for you. I have it here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through the scenario. Craig has hired 2 temp workers, Bob and Keith, to help with some jobs. He has asked you to 1. Enter their time worked, 2. Invoice the customers they worked for, and 3. Pay the contractors. Craig sent you an email with all their details. To complete this exercise, you will need a copy of Craig's email. Click on the link beneath the cardio video to grab a copy. So if I go back here to the gym, here is that animated video. Below that is a button that says email from Craig. Go ahead and click on that to download that email. Once you do and you open it up, this is what it will look like. Feel free to pause this video so that you can have a moment to read through this letter or this email. But here's the information that we need to keep in mind. Here is Keith and Bob's information or their hours worked and who it was for, what it was for, and then some other information as well. Now, to do this exercise, you will need to be in the sample company. If you are not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link in the description. I have the sample company here on the left side of my screen. Once you sign in, this is what it will look like. Now, as a note here, you must use a fresh copy of the sample company for the exercises in this section. Meaning, if you have been doing any of our other exercises here in the sample company, be sure to sign out and then sign back in so that it is a brand new session. And you will need to keep this session open for the next couple of exercises. There's a total of 4. So be sure to allow yourself enough time to do this exercise and the next 3 in this same session. So let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. The first thing you need to do when hiring a new contractor is set them up in QBO. QBO provides a tool to add contractors and automatically collect and track their W-9s. While you can use this tool found under the payroll menu or the expenses menu, many contractors complain that Intuit automatically sets them up with a self-employed account and markets to them to upgrade to a QBO subscription. Also, if you pay the contractors through this tool, QBO charges a fee. So for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to add the contractors via the vendors list. So to get to that list, from the left navigation bar, we're going to hover over expenses and then select vendors. So the left navigation bar is this black bar here. Hover over expenses and you're going to click on vendors. You'll notice here this says contractors. This is what I was referring to in that note above, but we want to set them up as a vendor. So go ahead and click on vendors. And the first one we're going to add is Keith Jones. So to add him, go ahead and click on the green New Vendor. In the vendor display name field, we're going to type Keith Jones. So go ahead and click into that and type his name. Now, in a real life situation, you would need to collect Keith's contact information and put it here. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're just going to go ahead and leave it blank. We want to scroll down to the additional info section, so go ahead and do that. And here it is right here. And then we want to click on the checkbox next to track payments for 1099, which is right here. Now note that in a real life situation, if you were not using QBO to collect the W-9 automatically using that contractors tool, it would be best practice to attach a copy of Keith's W-9. You would also enter Keith's social security number from the W-9 on this screen. By entering the social security number, QBO can generate the 1099 for you at the end of the year. So here is how you would attach that if you needed to, and then here's where you would put that social security number. So we're not going to add anything else here. Just go ahead and click on the green save button, which is on the bottom right corner. Click on that. And there you go. You can see he is now set up as a new contractor. Now you can add the second contractor. At this time, it is for Bob Smith. Now QBO may navigate to the transaction list for Keith Jones, which is right here, the contractor that we just added. If this is the case, just navigate back to the main vendors page. So to do that, you would just click on vendors right here. And now we're back to that vendor list. So let's do add Bob the same way that we just did for Keith by clicking on new vendor. And then in the vendor display name field, we're going to type Bob Smith. So go ahead and do that. We're going to scroll down to the additional info section and click on the checkbox next to track payments for 1099. So go ahead and do that. We're not going to add anything else here for the purpose of this exercise. So just go ahead and click on save, which is the green button on the bottom right corner. And now he has been added as well. Now, because you have marked these two vendors as tracking for 1099, they will now show up in the contractors list. So let's go take a look. Click on contractors, which is this tab right here. And once you get there, you will see that Bob and Keith are now showing here on this contractor list. W-9 missing right here just means that QBO does not have the W-9 for these workers via their internal tool. If you upload the W-9 as attachments, as previously discussed, it will still show as W-9 missing, even though we actually have it on hand and we've attached it to their vendor record. So don't let this bother you too much, especially if you've done it the way that we just mentioned by attaching that W-9 to their vendor record. So now that the new contractors have been added, you need to do some setup for when Craig uses their services and charges the customer. Start by editing the installation service. So to get to that product service list, we're going to click on the gear icon and then select products and services. The gear icon is on the top right corner of the screen. Click on that. And then under lists is products and services. Once it comes up, we're going to scroll down to installation and then click on edit. So scroll down here and you will see installation is about halfway down. Go ahead and click on edit. Now, right now, this product is only set up as something Craig sells to customers. You can see right here, but you can use this same product when paying the vendors. You'll see how to use it for that in the next section. So we're going to click on the checkbox next to I purchased this product service from a vendor. So that is this one right here. Go ahead and click on that checkbox. Now note that only QBO Plus and advanced subscription levels have the ability to create what's called a double-sided product or service this way. For other subscription levels, you will have to set up separate products and services, one for things that you sell and then one for things you purchase. So just keep that in mind as you're working in client books that if they do not have the QBO Plus or advanced subscription levels, you may need to have two separate ones, one for just selling and then one for purchasing. Go on to the next step before saving. So in the expense account field, we want to select installation. So scroll down here. Here is that expense account, and you want to make sure you choose installation under job expenses and cost of labor as shown here in the screenshot. So click the down arrow, and then we can go ahead and scroll to find installation. It says it's under job expenses. So here's job expenses, here's cost of labor, and then we want to select installation under that. So go ahead and click on that. And now we can go ahead and save and close this by clicking on the green button on the bottom right corner. Now that has been updated and saved. Now let's go ahead and set up a recurring bill to make it easy to pay the contractors when the time comes. So we're going to click on that gear icon once again, and this time clicking on recurring transactions. So the gear icon on the top right corner, and then under lists, recurring transactions. Now here you'll notice that the telephone bill set up right here is set up as a recurring bill, but you know that it is auto drafted, so it really should be a recurring expense. Make a note to come back and fix this at a later time. Let's go ahead and set up a new one by clicking on New. In the transaction type field, bill should already be selected, which it is, so go ahead and click on OK. Just that green button right there. And now this template is going to appear for us. So in the template name field, we're going to call this contractor installation. So click into that field and go ahead and type that. Contractor installation. Very good. In the type field, we're going to select unscheduled. Now we're selecting this because you only need to use it as needed. It's not on a specific scheduled period. So go ahead and click on that down arrow, select unscheduled. In the vendor field, we're going to select Bob Smith. Now we're using Bob Smith as the vendor on the template, but you will change it when you use the template for a different contractor like Keith. This way, you don't need to have more than one reoccurring bill for contractor installation. Note that if Bob and Keith are paid at different rates, you would want to have separate recurring bills. So in that vendor field, go ahead and click into it and select Bob Smith. And now we're going to click on the arrow to open the item details grid, which is down here. Currently, the category details grid is open. Let's go ahead and click on this to expand this one. In the product service field, we want to select installation. Now make sure that you are using the item details area here. This is so that when you include the hours or the quantity and rate, you would not be able to do this in the category details grid. So in order to include that hours and rate, you need to do it here in the item details. So product service, go ahead and click into it, click the down arrow. It is the third one that is listed here. Go ahead and select that. In the rate field, we're going to type 25. Now, this is the amount that Craig pays his contractors, not the amount that he charges his customers. If you go back here to the email, you will see that they're each getting $25 an hour, but he's billing the clients for double that at $50 an hour. So let's go ahead in the rate field and type 25. And then we can go ahead and save the template by clicking on the green Save Template on the bottom right corner. And now, once you do, you will see now that it has been saved as a recurring transaction. And in the next exercise, you're going to enter the contractor's time and invoice the clients. But that's how you set up contractors. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. We're going to continue on, and if you want to join, be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the next exercise where we practice time tracking and invoicing. And I will see you in the next